Okay.
Good. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the September 3rd Zoning Committee Work Session. My name is Douglas A. Welton, and I serve as the chairman of the Zoning Committee. Tonight's meeting is being streamed online via YouTube in accordance with all applicable meeting statutes. Requirements for notice, access, and minutes are being met by electronic means. Few items of business before we get started today. Anybody listen to that Temptation song, Papa Was a Rolling Stone today? No? All right, we all listen to that song on the 3rd of September. For those of you who are in the room, please keep your mics muted when you are not speaking. That does not apply tonight because we have these super duper cool mics that someone else is controlling. State your name when you are making a motion or seconding a motion. The disposition of any petition that we are voting on tonight requires 4 votes in the majority. If 4 votes cannot be accomplished, the petition will be deferred. The public hearings for the zoning petitions that we're hearing tonight has been held at a previous date in front of Charlotte City Council and the Zoning Committee. This meeting is not a continuation of that public hearing, so there will be no public input unless the committee has a specific question, in which case the committee will suspend the session and ask the petitioner a specific question directly. We'll begin tonight with introductions, and we will start to my left with Commissioner Millen.
Carolyn Millen, Planning Commissioner.
Teresa McDonald, Planning Commissioner.
Michael Caprioli, Planning Commissioner.
Robin Stewart, Planning Commissioner.
Erin Shaw, Planning Commission.
Thank you very much. We will do staff introductions now, and we will begin with Ms. Kramer.
Holly Kramer, Planning Staff.
Michael Russell, Planning Staff.
Carol Jones, Planning Staff.
Shayla Tippett, Planning Staff.
Shayla, did you do something bad to be put in the dunce corner?
No, just running.
Okay, thank you. I do believe we have some folks who are online tonight, and it is a bounty of folks across the top of the screen. And would you introduce yourselves? And I believe, Mr. Mangum, you are first on our the list that I can see here. So why don't you get us started?
Thank you. Joe Mangum, Planning Staff.
Travis Miller, CDOT.
Hanno, CDOT.
CDOT.
Natalie King, CDOT.
Drew Ritter, CDOT.
Did we get everybody? I think so. All right, good. Thanks, everybody. We'll get our meeting started as we would. We'll take a look. Are there any deferrals on tonight's agenda?
Yes, we have 3 deferrals. Petition 2024-127 by Wood Partners, petition 2025-032 by Queen City Land, and petition 2025-036 by Rangeworks, all requesting a deferral to the October 7th meeting.
All right, thanks, everyone. Do I hear a motion for the disposition of those deferrals? Do we adopt those? Do we accept those deferrals? Do you hear a motion?
Shaw, motion to defer.
Millen, second.
It's been motioned by Commissioner Shaw, seconded by Commissioner Millen. All those in favor of accepting these deferrals, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, those things are done. That bit of business is finished, and we will begin with item number 4 on our agenda, rezoning petition number 2025-060 by Mecklenburg County. And Max will be doing this, but I'm told by Holly that she's going to be virtual Max tonight.
Yes, something
So-
like that.
Hit it, I think would be what they say.
Yes, I apologize. I think this might be further down in the PowerPoint. Shayla, 2025-060 should be at the bottom. So I'll wait until we can get that to the PowerPoint. I forgot that we had moved this one to the top.
None of this would have happened if you'd listened to the Temptations earlier today. Just saying.
The site is just under 30 acres. It's along the east side of East WT Harris Road, just north of Albemarle Road. Almost to it, I promise. Okay, I think you passed it. You were at 81. Yeah. There it is. Alright. Just under 30 acres along that east side of DWT Harris, north of Albemarle Road, Hickory Grove, an area where we have a lot of residential products, single family and multifamily. We just had a multifamily conditional plan approved of the east side of this. Well, there's some commercial use, of course, along Albemarle and East WT Harris. But the proposal is for an N2C exception plan. It is currently zoned R20 multifamily conditional. It's an old 1990 plan, I believe, 1988 specifically. But what they are specifically proposing is an exception plan, and it is considered consistent with the neighborhood 2 policy map designation, though this will actually revise it to a Parks and Preserves place type, and I'll explain that because the conditions of this plan are really for a park facility. So we can go ahead and go to the next slide. The reason that we need exception provisions in this case is to just phase out or provide flexibility in when those street frontage requirements, street frontage improvements are being required along East WT Harris. But the intent is to allow for the development of public park and associated uses. And it will have the exception conditional plan, which does require you to provide 2 public benefits. It outlines that a sustainability benefit would have to be preserving on-site space, and that would exceed green area requirements by at least 5%. It also provides a public amenity, public benefit category, which would be that it is providing an inclusive playground in addition to passive amenities. And in the revised plan that they provided since the public hearing, they have provided a definition for what an inclusive playground is. And they also modified a note as at the request of CDOT regarding those streetscape improvements, just to make it a little bit more comfortable. I think it was previously outlining specific phasing that would occur, but now they've changed the language so that they would just be coordinating with CDOT about when those frontage improvements would kick in. The intent is still to do those frontage improvements, just need a little bit of flexibility of when those would actually occur. So with those changes in mind, staff does recommend approval of this petition. There are no further outstanding issues or technical revisions needed. Again, this is an exception petition, so they're a little bit different than normal, and it is a conditional request, and we get those public benefits as a result of them asking for flexibility from certain standards that are either quantitative or streetscape standards, as in this case. And the public benefits in this situation certainly justify the very small request here in terms of when those streetscape improvements would occur on the site. And it is going to be a use that would certainly well service the multifamily as well as single family projects in the area. And there are plenty of transit options to access this site, and we have no further outstanding issues, and I'll take any questions.
Thank you very much, Holly. Just one quick one I'll sneak in here. They mentioned an inclusive playground in the public hearing, and I haven't looked at the post hearing staff analysis to see if it's actually, I'm just curious as to what an inclusive playground is. My first thought was, probably not correct. So I just wanted for, if we see this again, what is an inclusive playground?
Yeah, I can pull up their language right now, but we do also have the petitioner team here if you want more specifics on the language of that. But let me go to their EX benefits where they've outlined.
If you can't find it, I will just find the petitioner after the meeting if they're still here and get my curiosity satisfied.
Inclusive playground is an integrated playground designed to be welcoming and accessible to children of all abilities. So, and interabled essentially.
Okay.
Type playground.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions, comments on this particular petition?
McDonald.
Commissioner McDonald.
I'm just trying to understand exactly what's happening on the ground as far as the streetscape on WT Harris in that section. Is there currently sidewalk there?
There is currently sidewalk.
The old 4 foot or 6
6
foot?
foot. Yeah, there's currently sidewalk there, and so essentially the plan is saying that the current sidewalk will stay in place until there's the funding freed up to make that streetscape improvement. But there is
Public
currently a
funding
sidewalk that is
freed up.
along that frontage,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you have any further questions, comments? If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number 4 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-060?
Stewart, motion to approve. Having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-060 as appeared before us and the adoption of the consistency statement.
Second, McDonald.
It's been motioned by Commissioner Stewart, seconded by Commissioner McDonald. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously, 6-0. We're on to item number 5 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2024-141 by NVR Inc. And Michael, will you take us through this one, please, sir?
Certainly. This is approximately 107.31 acres located northwest of North Tryon Street, southeast of I-85, and south of West Mallard Creek Church Road. The current zoning is institutional campus, general commercial, and neighborhood 1A. The proposed zoning is for neighborhood 2B conditional. The 2040 policy map recommends the neighborhood 2 place type, so it is consistent. Getting into the proposal, it proposes up to 575 multifamily attached dwelling units. Provides an 8-foot wide planting strip and an 8-foot wide sidewalk on both sides of all internal streets. Vehicular access to the site provided by connections to Berkeley Place Drive, Salerno Drive, and Emerald Cove Drive. Dedicates right of way on the westernmost street over the stream to accommodate the potential future extension of this public street. Commits to reconstruct the accessible curb ramps on all 4 corners of the intersection of West Mallard Creek Church Road and Berkeley Place Drive, and upgrade the pedestrian signals to accessible pedestrian signals. Commits to upgrade the traffic signal at the intersection of West Mallard Creek Church Road and Berkeley Place Drive to accommodate the APS functionality and to install right turn FYA signal heads on the eastbound, westbound, and southbound approaches. Extends the northbound left turn lane on West Mallard Creek Church Road, the intersection of West Mallard Creek Church Road and Place Drive to accommodate 500 feet of storage. It does convey and dedicate a minimum of 5.3 acres to Mecklenburg County for a future public park. Provides a minimum of 2 access trails from new public right-of-way onto the site to the existing greenway on the site. Dedicates and conveys to Mecklenburg County a greenway easement for those portions of the site located within the 100-foot swim buffer. For open space, they provide 5 open space areas. Each multifamily dwelling unit will be located within 1,000 feet of at least one amenitized open space area. So they're providing a community swimming pool in one of the open space areas, and each amenitized open space area will have a minimum dimension of 50 feet or more measured in all directions, and provides architectural details and design standards. They also recently they commit to no more than 20% of the total number of multifamily attached dwelling units actually constructed on the site may be leased or rented to third parties at any one time. So as I mentioned, this petition is consistent with the 2040 policy map recommendation for the neighborhood 2 place type. We find that it's appropriate and compatible with the surrounding land uses as the site is designated a neighborhood 2 place type and is adjacent to several multifamily projects to the north and south of the site. It's also adjacent to a neighborhood center, community activity center, and campus place types, allowing potential access to services. They are proposing a minimum 5.3 acre portion of the site is proposed public park, Mecklenburg County. They are within a half mile of the J.W. Clay Boulevard Station on the Lynx Blue Line. The site is adjacent to the Mallard Creek and Barton Creek Greenways under the 3 public access trails provided by the petitioner. So staff does recommend approval of this petition. We'd glad to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Michael. Do we have any questions or comments from anybody on this particular petition? Hearing none, do I hear a motion for the disposition of rezoning, item number 5, rezoning petition 2024-141?
McDonald, motion to approve. Having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2024-141 as it appears before us, and the adoption of the consistency statement as it appears before us.
Millen, second.
It's been moved by Commissioner McDonald and seconded by Commissioner Millen. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes 6-0. We're on to item number 6 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-009 by Davis Moore. And Joe will take us through this particular petition. Joe, we miss you. You're not in the room with us, but we still love you.
Yeah, well, doing fun things like having a giant tree cut down in your backyard. So sorry I can't be there.
The envy is boiling up out of me.
Yeah, I'm sure. Petition 2025-009 is about 40 acres, southeastern corner of Johnston Road and Providence Road West. Get my PowerPoint to go. Here we go. It's partially developed with a hospital and medical offices. Current zoning is institutional conditional, with a proposed zoning of a site plan amendment of that institutional conditional. 2040 policy map recommends the campus place type. And the proposal would be for an additional 56,000 square feet in medical office uses, as well as an additional 48 beds and 13,000 square feet of health institution uses. All previously approved development standards, including setbacks, permitted use limitations, architectural standards, environmental features, would be maintained, as well as previously approved transportation commitments, including a conversion of a right-in, right-out access on Providence Road West and access A to an unsignalized crossover. Since the public hearing, the petitioner has added a site plan development table and also clarified maximum square footages. There remains just one outstanding issue that the petitioner plans to correct by the end of the week. That's just to incorporate an additional transportation improvement called out by traffic impact study. Petition staff does recommend approval of the petition. It is consistent with the campus place type. Proposal is for the same use as the recently approved rezoning petition. Would just allow for a minor increase in the allowed square footage. Does not make any changes to development standards and enhances transportation improvements accordingly to the increase in square footage. And I'll be happy to take questions.
Thank you very much, Joe. Does anyone have any questions, comments?
No.
Issues?
McDonald,
Commissioner McDonald?
I was just trying to lay my hands on what the outstanding transportation requirement is. I don't think you went into detail.
Yes, and I might have to call on CDOT, but I can give you the basics. It is to update site plan and Exhibit A to show a new leftover at Access B that is per the traffic impact study that was updated along with the site plan amendment.
Okay, I definitely don't understand that.
This is Chris Mano. Can I jump in?
Go ahead, Chris.
This is a site plan amendment. So the updated site plan carried through with the old traffic impact study appendix on sheet 2. and we were just looking to see it updated. So the plan is correct. It shows the leftover, but the image was taken from the old traffic study. So I just wanted to have that updated to match the updated version of the traffic study.
Basically, a technical cut and paste kind of adventure is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
I was concerned about stuff on the ground. So, yeah, that's okay. Thank you.
Other comments, questions? If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number, what is this, 6 on our agenda, 2025-009?
Caprioli, motion to approve petition 2025 tag 009. Having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by the staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025 tag 009er as it appears before us and the adoption of the consistency statement. Did I read that right?
As it appears before us too. It's kind of, bad.
Okay,
All right, good.
so let it be.
Shaw second.
It's been moved by Caprioli and seconded by Commissioner Shaw. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously 6-0. All right, we are on to item number 7 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-027. And Virtual Max will take us through this again.
So this site is just under 5 acres, located just east of Valleydale Road, north of Fred D. Alexander Boulevard, just south of the current terminus of Goodman Road there. It is in an area that's pretty residential in nature. You have a lot of single family residential in the immediate area, immediate vicinity, and then there's a Family Dollar that abuts the site and some other commercial and industrial type uses to the south and southeast there. Currently zoned neighborhood 1B, and a portion is also general commercial, and they are proposing to go to neighborhood 2A conditional, which would be inconsistent with the policy map's recommendation for neighborhood 1 at this site. The proposal itself is a neighborhood 2 proposal. It's for up to 43 multifamily attached dwelling units, limits the number of structures to 12. Buildings would be no more than 4 per building, so no denser than a quadruplex, which is something that you could see in one district, for example, with a maximum length of 100 feet. All of these units would be House Charlotte eligible, and all dwellings would be deed restricted for a minimum of 7 years to ensure that affordability. Note some transportation, streetscape, and landscaping improvements. Access would be off of a public street extension of Goodman Road. There would be a 70-foot greenway and stormwater easement that the petitioner would be conveying to the county. They're committing to larger setbacks than required in a 25-foot Class B landscape yard, as well as a fence, I believe, along the neighborhood 1 place types that it abuts. Open space would be amenitized and have minimum dimensions of 50 feet in all directions, and it provides notes about how the open space areas would be enhanced. And it also provides preferred architectural standards such as listed prohibited materials and maximum of 3 stories in building height. I'll go over what they have changed since the public hearing. We had a couple of modifications. So they added a commitment to enhance landscaping exceeding the standards of the EDO, minimum of 18 trees per 1 acre of open space. Also added a note committing to 1 linear foot of seating per 300 square feet of the public open space, just in line with those enhanced open space notes that we've been requesting from petitioners. Also added a note where previously they had a note limiting height to 48 feet, though 3 stories. They've reduced that from 48 feet now to 35 feet. They also addressed all technical revisions that were requested. Staff does recommend approval of this petition. There are no further outstanding issues or technical revisions. Though it is inconsistent with the neighborhood 1 place type, generally what is being proposed is our neighborhood 1 building forms. They're also committing to larger setbacks, landscape yards, and open space areas than required by the ordinance. And the site-specific conditions that they built into this plan provide a preferred transition between that commercial place type that's abutting the site and the neighborhood 1 areas that it is also adjacent to. There would be that dedication and conveyance to the county for the greenway easement. It is also located adjacent to commercial uses along Valleydale Road, which could serve the future residents with goods and services. That's designated as a commercial place type. It's also located along Route number 1, CATS local bus, and generally meets some of that criteria that we would look for in a transition from neighborhood 1 to a neighborhood 2 place type change. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you very much, Holly. Commissioner Shaw.
Thanks, Holly. I think there are a lot of real positives to this, and really appreciate you running through it. We've gotten a number of emails about this. I'm sure everybody has. My one question is, what is staff and I guess the city general's position, or what jurisdiction does the city have to comment on the proximity of the road to the home that I know the owner and resident's been very vocal about her concerns? Like how does that relate to the rezoning, if at all? From a jurisdictional, I mean, I'm
Right.
empathetic to it, but from a jurisdictional kind of.
Yeah, so if they're not expanding the right of way that outside of their rezoning area, they can't, but they are turning it into the public street dimensions as requested by CDOT, where within the rezoning boundaries. So there's nothing changing within there. What we can do is make requests such as, could you add enhanced plantings along there? But when it falls outside of the rezoning boundary, there's a lot of limitations in what the petitioner is able to do and also what we're able to realistically ask for, and what we certainly can't require it, but we can always ask for something. So, does that answer your question, or do I need to?
No, that does.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else have a question? Commissioner Capriello.
Excuse me, I can't get it up here. Did CDOT have any input into this? I know this lot, it's like locked in. There's one road in and one road out because of the homes around it, and I believe there's a pipeline easement in there. There's no way to expand additional access into that area.
CDOT, do you have comments about, I guess, General Goodman Road improvements? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, and it seems to be a safety issue also. There's only one way in for the fire department to enter should they need to. The area is basically landlocked except for that one road.
So this is Isaiah Washington with CDOT. With any development, if it's adjacent to public right of way, by just state law, we have to allow an access. So for where they are, and from the conversations we've had with the petitioner, they've attempted to reach out to the surrounding property owners. And my understanding was they didn't get positive feedback about allowing an additional access kind of going through their land. I believe there's a church that's, if you're looking at the plan, kind of southwest of where they have everything. And it sounds like when they looked into that, the street was too wide to kind of fit without having the property owners agreements to it. As far as CDOT, we would prefer more, but we can't require them to do anything if the property owners aren't participating, especially. And there's no ordinance that we have that forces them to find that out. And they are well within the underneath the traffic study for us to make them do that as well. So for CDOT, as far as the road that they have to put in on their property, that has to meet city standards, but that's about as far as we can take it. But we were very open to, if they were able to get an additional connection, we would support that. But as far as what we can require them to do, because they're landlocked, a lot of it's dependent upon the surrounding property owners as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Isaiah, while I've got you there, I'm going to piggyback on Michael's question, because when I took a look at Polaris earlier this evening, Goodman Road is a publicly maintained road, but the stub that they want to connect onto was listed as a private road. And it appears to, and this is just from visual inspection, not meet any kind of standard whatsoever. I am concerned because we have to, zonings have to, the test is, can we provide the services and all that good stuff? How is a fire truck going to get down there? How is an ambulance going to get down that road if there's an emergency, because it's not much of a road? Now, I understand that that's outside of the rezoning, but this gives me pause because this particular property is basically landlocked, as Mr. Capriolo said. I guess I'm asking you to revalidate that there's not anything that you guys can require to make that change.
Yes, no, there's nothing that's within our ability to create that change. The extension that you were referring to, the right of way is public, but there's no maintenance of that particular area currently.
So
we've reached out.
By the way, it is public.
Okay.
We've
All
reached,
right.
we've reached out to our maintenance about it though, to see if it could potentially be accepted. And then maybe, over time, there's more that we'll be able to do, but based off of what they're showing and where their property is, we don't have anything else that we're able to do. But fire
Okay.
will review this as well when the plans come in.
Okay, so that won't happen until permitting, that fire will review
They've
that.
reviewed it in the rezoning process as well. They've already reviewed it.
Okay. I wish I looked at that note before I got here.
They didn't have any outstanding.
They had no comment.
No outstanding issues, so they've met any fire apparatus.
Yeah.
Needs.
And we don't get a review from the police department or anything of that nature, or
They do
medic.
not- They do not, they are not a typical.
Okay. Thanks, Isaiah. Anyone else have any questions or comments on this particular petition?
McDonald, nothing in particular new or useful, but just that there is a need for this kind of housing and the provisions for it to be affordable or, in the House Charlotte program. Really, other than this access issue, which I'm not even convinced that is, I don't know exactly how wide our fire trucks are, but I don't think they're 20 feet wide. I'm in support of this. I know it sucks for that homeowner whose house is 12 feet from the property line. I definitely have empathy for her, but I think in the bigger scheme of things, having 43 more housing units that will be affordable is a good balance. My opinion.
Anyone else got any comments they want to throw out? There's silence there, so I guess if there's nothing else, do I hear a motion regarding the disposition of this petition?
McDonald, motion to approve. Having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of the petition number 2025-027 as it appears before us, and the adoption of the consistency statement as it appears before us.
Stewart, second.
It's been moved by Commissioner McDonald, seconded by Commissioner Stewart. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 4-2. We need to craft a consistency statement for those of us who are in opposition. And I would say that we would think that there were concerns regarding access via the private road that is, may not allow, police and fire appropriate access and just one way in?
Brief and fire access. There is no plan for the private road for public maintenance. Although these units might be required, you are condemning these people to live in a virtual island out there. Can we comment about the?
That's probably enough.
Okay.
That's probably enough. You, virtual max, you good? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think we've registered our, issues there, and, it did pass 4-2, and, this goes on to city council to make the next set of decisions about that. All right, we're on item number 8 on our rezoning petition, or on our agenda, rezoning petition number 2025-034, Veer Homes LLC. And Joe, you are up.
Petition 2025-34 is approximately 6.2 acres located on the west side of Providence Road, south of I-485 and east of Allison Woods Drive. It is currently occupied by 2 single-family dwellings. Current zoning is N1A. Proposed zoning is N2B CD. The 2040 policy map recommends the neighborhood 1 place type. And the proposal is for 79 multifamily attached quadruplex, triplex, and duplex units. Buildings could contain a maximum of 6 dwellings per building, and could be a maximum of 140 feet in length. Up to 4 buildings could contain 6 dwelling units. Building height would be limited to 48 feet. Blank wall expanses on corner end unit facades facing public streets be limited to 20 feet. Petitioner is committing to internal tree plantings along private alleys at 40 feet spacing, and committing to providing an amenitized open space that could include at least 4 of the following elements: enhanced planting in excess of minimum standards, specialty paving materials, shading elements, seating options, a minimum dimension of 30 feet in all directions, and decorative lighting. Would implement an 8-foot planting strip and 8-foot sidewalk along the site's frontage of Allison Lane and Allison Woods Drive. Also is committed to providing an 8-foot planting strip and 12-foot multi-use path along Providence Road. That will be subject to evaluation for topographic constraints during permitting. There's a bit of grade between the site, particularly in the northeastern corner between the site and Providence Road. Since the public hearing, the petitioner addressed several outstanding issues related to site and building design, mostly labeling issues, confirming setbacks. You can see the garbage truck movement there in the center of the site. Staff recommends approval upon resolution of one outstanding issue related to transportation, and that is specifically a sidewalk connection to the south. Staff is requesting a connection up to Providence Road. As I mentioned, there is some grade, but we do feel like that is a very important connection with the activity center to the south. The petition is inconsistent with the policy map recommendation for the neighborhood 1 place type. However, this portion of Providence Road hosts a number of commercial uses, moderately dense multifamily, and provides a transition between the community activity center and less intense residential areas to the west of the site. The petition proposes a mix of residential housing types, including multifamily attached, quadruplexes, 1 duplex, and 1 triplex. Building forms are consistent with those seen in the adjacent multifamily attached development to the west. As I mentioned, the site is adjacent to a community activity center, but is not accessible to pedestrians due to lack of sidewalk connectivity. And I will be happy to take questions.
Thank you very much, Joe. Anyone have any questions, comments? Commissioner McDonald.
Your very last statement can you repeat that? I was reading and not following what you were saying, sorry. About the important connection for pedestrians, I believe.
Yeah, so the site is adjacent to Community Activity Center. There's a large retail area to the south, some offices, medical offices, which is great, but it's not connected by sidewalk. And that is the one outstanding issue that remains with the petition, is staff asking for a sidewalk connection from the site to Providence Road.
Okay. Um, I'm probably overthinking and trying to imagine the people who will be living in those units, if that's something they would choose to do, to walk that way to that community activity center, because I think you can reach it by going on internal roads or along one of the other Allison roads. And I'm sorry, I'm just delayed in pulling up the map in front
I
of me.
think maybe I'm misunderstanding, but I think the concern is that they're building both sidewalks, but they're not connected. They're required to build both sidewalks, but the two sidewalks don't connect. So they're already being built. And so if they're gonna exist, obviously you should be able to get to one through
They're asking to connect to Providence Road.
That,
to the shared use 12-foot path that's along Providence.
Yeah.
They're being, I think, required to build as part of this petition. So in other words, they're building a path on Providence Road and a path on the north of their site, and they're not connecting. So I mean, if someone wanted to walk, it's like they're already doing most of the work.
the issue though, that I received an email from the petitioner, and one of the issues was that there was a grade issue there. And if I recall correctly, it's approximately 18 feet of difference between Allison Road and the Providence Road adventure. So basically, yeah, you got sidewalks that are close to one another, but they're doing this. So, you know, you don't walk up that grade. And I guess connecting them is possible, and the petitioner could zigzag its way back up there. They could put an elevator in. They could come with something creative that way. But Michael, if I'm hearing you correctly, that would get resolved in permitting. Is that what I heard you say at one point, or am I incorrect?
No, it's
Oh, excuse me, Joe. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Michael and saying Joe.
And Natalie can fill in the gaps here, but so there's kind of two different items we're looking at. There's an existing sidewalk on Providence Road, maybe 5 feet in width. They're required by ordinance to upgrade that to a multi-use path, 12-foot wide multi-use path. There is the connection between. There's the connection between the new sidewalk along Allison Lane that staff is requesting connects up to the Providence Road sidewalk. So, and staff recognizes that grade challenge, that we'd like to continue them exploring possibilities to make that connection. We do recognize that it's a challenge.
Okay. So it may not be a resolvable issue, is what you're saying.
Right, we would just like to understand if we've explored
All the possibilities.
here and make sure we're exhausting them.
That's fine. Don't be in the red shirt when you're on the telepad. That's what they're saying. All right.
Can I ask?
Commissioner, are you through?
I'm still not quite done because of my biscuits or my grits. I'm not sure.
Okay, and what would be the additional
But
question you would have?
it's this, even this 12-foot multi-use path on Providence Road, where is it going?
There's
These
right,
things
yeah.
down here.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
lots of stuff down there you would go to and buy stuff.
Okay.
That, I mean, that's, I
I
think they
know,
call
I
that a
guess I was
commercial
looking,
center.
yeah. So this is where the commercial activity center is, yeah.
yeah,
No, I
yeah.
do know that. I guess I was more confused about, in the other direction and where we want to make this.
If you would like to
connection
walk
particularly.
across an interstate on a bridge, then that opportunity would present itself and you could go over there to Home Depot or Lowe's or one of those giant boxes and buy yourself some stuff.
I'm just,
I've written that.
I see a sidewalk that ends, that goes nowhere in one direction, at a huge cost to these residents. And I just have to
This
voice
does
that.
connect
I
into
know it's the
existing
policy.
sidewalks, and it's required per the Charlotte Streets map. So this
Mhm.
does connect to goods and services on the corridor though. So this would be required, in a different development that were proposed as well. This is just what the streets map calls for. It connects to existing pedestrian infrastructure that's already on the ground.
I get that.
Commissioner Stewart?
Still.
Not to beat a dead horse, but, so the sidewalk on Allison Lane will just terminate at within spitting distance of Providence Road. Will it be a sidewalk kind of to nowhere? Because you can only go one way. I guess you can go west, but you can't go east past the edge of the development. Is that's a bit of. Okay, thank you.
Do I have any other questions, comments? Anyone have something they're just dying to ask about?
I just clarification, because I'm getting lost here. Is this a sidewalk to nowhere? I mean, is that just, and there's no
No.
change to that, or am I hearing
So
wrong?
there's maybe two things being discussed. There's a shared use path that has to happen per what the Charlotte Streets map calls for, CDOT requirements, et cetera. That happens along the primary corridor. Currently, with the development, there's no way for future tenants in this or future residents in this area to access said shared use path or easily access the community activity center in this area because there's no sidewalk to actually get onto that corridor to get onto the shared use path. Sidewalk being requested is to actually get residents to that community activity center utilizing the shared use path that has to occur regardless.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number 8 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-034?
Caprioli, motion to approve.
Go for it.
Okay. Having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend the approval of petition number, I lost it,
2025-034.
2025
034.
034. As it appears before us, and the adoption of the consistency statements.
Millen, second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Caprioli, seconded by Commissioner Millen. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes 6-0. We're on to item number 9, rezoning petition 2025-040 by TDC Greenville LLC and Virtual Max. It's on you again.
Site's a little over 2 acres located west of Statesville Road, north of Callahan Street, south of Romeo, Alexander Road. This is generally in the Camp North End area, so you have a real range of mixed uses and adaptive reuse projects occurring with predominantly residential uses to the west of the site. It is currently zoned mixed use development district conditional per a 2018 rezoning, and they are proposing a site plan amendment, which would stay consistent with the policy map's recommendation for a community activity center at this site. The site plan amendment is really just for 2 changes here. They're proposing, and it's only for a portion of the 2018 plan to be clear. They're proposing an increase to the maximum building height to 55 feet in the area outlined in red here on the plan. And they are also revising the affordable housing commitment, and so that they would provide 10 affordable units, 5 at 60 to 80% AMI and 5 at 80 to 100% AMI. Previously, the AMI percentages for the affordable units that they were setting aside ranged from 80 to 100% for some, and then 80 to 120% for others. So those are the two changes occurring. And previously that height was 45 feet, but generally pretty minor. Staff does recommend approval of this petition upon resolution of an outstanding issue related to transportation. And this outstanding issue was a CDOT request to add back in a conditional note regarding installation of pedestrian ramps on the site, from which was a conditional note on the 2018 plan. Now, since that came up, we did get resolution just recently that the ramps have already been installed per the phase 1 of the project that's already gone through, and they're just going to add the note back onto the plan just to make it clear that the condition is staying. It hasn't gone away. It's just been installed, and that's why it was overlooked previously and not included on the plan as submitted. But staff does recommend approval of this petition. They'll submit that revised plan clarifying the ramp request per CDOT, and there will be no further outstanding issues after that. It is a pretty minor site plan amendment with those two proposed changes, but we think it keeps in line with the intent of the original request. It's generally in an area that supports this type of housing product. It's in that community activity center, walkable to Camp North End and other mixed use developments, and also serves as a transition to the neighborhood 1 areas that you saw on the west side. Has access to transit as well as a range of goods and services, and I'll take any questions.
Thank you very much, Holly, Virtual Max. Does anyone have any questions, comments on this particular petition? If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number 9 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-040?
Stewart, having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-040 as it appears before us, and the adoption of the consistency statement.
Shaw, second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Stewart, seconded by Commissioner Shaw. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes 6-0. We're on to item number 10 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-042 by Brian Elsey. Hopefully I got that name right. Joe, would you take us through this?
Petition 2025-042 is approximately 6.42 acres located on the north side of Tom Hunter Road, west of Hunter Oaks Lane, and east of Hidden Stream Court. It's currently occupied by 2 single-family dwellings. Current zoning is N1B with the proposed zoning of N2B conditional. The 2040 policy map recommends the neighborhood 1 place type. The proposal is for a community of 168 multifamily stacked dwellings, which would be restricted to an average of 60% of the area median income. Building height be limited to 48 feet. You're committing to building modulations for the units fronting on Tom Hunter Road of at least 10 feet in length, every 60 feet in building length. Would have porches and stoops as predominant architectural features, and states that they would be at least 6 feet in depth. Would implement an 8-foot planting strip and 8-foot sidewalk along the site's Tom Hunter Road frontage. Would relocate the curb and gutter on Tom Hunter from 20 to 24 feet from center line to enhance the bicycle lane in accordance with the Charlotte Streets map. Provide a 10-foot Class C landscape yard with a 6-foot tall fence along the site's eastern, northern, and western property boundaries. And identifies a centrally located open space and amenity area of greater than 25,000 square feet. Since the public hearing, the petitioner addressed several outstanding issues related to site and building design. Also, in working with CDOT and with the community, the petitioner committed to providing $25,000 towards a signalized pedestrian crosswalk between the site and Tom Hunter Park. Staff recommends approval. It is inconsistent with the N1 policy map recommendation. However, is located in an area with a mix of multifamily and single family Residential would provide a moderately intense multifamily development that is mindful of existing land use patterns and provides attainable housing. Site has preferred place type adjacencies. Also is less than a quarter mile from bus stops for CATS Route 211 and less than 1 mile from Tom Hunter Road Blue Line Station. And as I mentioned, is right across Tom Hunter Road from Tom Hunter Park. The petition is committing to providing workforce housing at an average of 60% of the area median income. We'll take any questions.
Thank you very much, Joe. Does anyone have any questions, comments on this particular petition? If not,
Sorry, let me just say.
Commissioner McDonald?
Because I know that there was opposition from the Community Association, Hidden Valley, to this. I think it is a great compromise for the developer to offer the 25,000 towards a future pedestrian crossing that would allow some easier, possibly safer access to the park. But this checks a lot of boxes, as staff has detailed in their report, and it seems a no-brainer to approve this housing in this location. Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments? I will just second what Commissioner McDonald has said in regard to, I was pleased that the petitioner did decide to contribute to some future signalized crossing due to Mabob there, and that will make things all nicer and gooder. Due to Mabob, you look it up in the dictionary, and
Yes,
surprisingly, you can find it. Just say. Do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number 10 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-042?
Millen to approve, having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-042 as it appears before us, the adoption of the consistency statement.
All right, do I have a second?
McDonald, second.
Been motioned by Commissioner Millen and seconded by Commissioner McDonald. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously, 6-0. We're on to item number 11 on our agenda, petition number 2025-043 by the City of Charlotte. And Michael, would you take us through this, please?
Sure. This is approximately 2.37 acres located on the south side of Chipley Avenue, west of Paul Buck Boulevard and east of Monroe Road. You can see it backs up to the Charlotte Bojangles Coliseum and Ovens Auditorium. The current zoning is neighborhood 2B. The proposed zoning is community activity center. The 2040 policy map recommends a community activity center place type. The petition is consistent with the 2040 policy map recommendation for the community activity center place type. We feel the petition is appropriate, compatible as the site is within an area designated by the policy map for the community activity place type. The site is a city-owned parcel abutting the city-owned Ovens Auditorium and the Bojangles Coliseum complex. It is compatible to incorporate the two sites under the same CAC place type. And the community activity center zoning district includes standards to adequately buffer and transition uses adjacent to more sensitive areas like the neighborhood 1 place type. So staff does recommend approval of this petition. Be glad to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Michael. Do we have any questions or comments from anyone on this particular petition?
Have you gotten any, Millen, have you gotten any community feedback?
No.
Were there people at the community meeting? I mean, this one might be a hard one. 3? Okay, all right. Thank you. Anyone else got a question, comment? If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number, which I'm gonna do here? Scrolling.
11.
11 on,
Having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-043 as it appears before us and the adoption of the consistency statement as it appears before us.
Millen, second.
it's been motioned by Commissioner Shaw, seconded by Commissioner Millen. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes 6-0. Item number 12 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-046 by Northway Homes LLC. We have virtual Emma tonight too, don't we?
Yep.
Okay.
This site is under a quarter acre located west of Topham Place, north of Heron Avenue, and east of the Plaza corridor there. It is in an area that's pretty residential in its immediate vicinity, though of course along the plaza we have a range of commercial uses designated in that neighborhood activity center use type. It is currently zoned general commercial, and the request is for a neighborhood 1C designation, which is consistent with the policy map's recommendation for the neighborhood 1 place type here. This is a conditional request, so there's no associated site plan. Staff does recommend approval of this petition. It brings the site into consistency with the recommended place type for this parcel and generally reflects a better zoning district given the uses and its surrounding residential context in the area. Generally, a general commercial designation on this site wouldn't make much sense given the uses that it could be permissible and what it abuts in terms of neighborhood 1 development. And I'll take any questions.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions, comments? If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number 12 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-04 or 046?
McDonald, motion to approve. Having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-046 as it appears before us and the adoption of the consistency statement as it appears before us.
Shaw, second.
It's been moved by Commissioner McDonald, seconded by Commissioner Shaw. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes 6-0. Item number 13 on our agenda is rezoning petition 2025-048 by Castle Bridge Residential Development. Virtual Emma, would you do it for us again?
Yes, this site is just under 8 acres along the south side of Sunset Road in Charlotte's ETJ. This portion of Sunset Road corridor has a mix of multifamily as well as single-family residential development. The site is currently zoned neighborhood 1A, and the petitioner is proposing to go to neighborhood 2A conditional, which would be consistent with what's approved several months ago directly west of the site, though this request itself is inconsistent with the policy map's recommendation for neighborhood 1 parcel. The proposal is for up to 80 townhome style units. A minimum of 50% of the buildings would have no more than 4 units per building. Connections will be made to public streets proposed or existing to the east and west of the site, with access also off of Sunset Road. 12-foot shared use path would be along Sunset Road. Proposal also commits to preferred open space standards to ensure amenitization and minimum dimensions. And they also provide architectural standards exceeding UDO requirements. Since the public hearing, the petitioner has made a couple of adjustments regarding the outstanding issues and technical revisions listed in the pre-hearing staff analysis. So they added a commitment for street tree plantings along alleys within the site. Also modified the building material notes to add vinyl limitations, so no more than 25% of the facades, and also addressed a technical revision. Staff does recommend approval of this petition upon resolution of outstanding issues related to transportation. These are just really two, I think, minor labeling transportation items that we need to clean up on the site plan, but they should be addressed in the revised plan that we'll receive this week. But generally, staff recommends approval of this petition. It has some of those items that we would look for in the transition from a neighborhood 1 to a neighborhood 2 place type. It's directly abutting developments of a similar residential product type. And so although inconsistent, it has its location along an arterial. So it's situated among those other N2 developments and located near a designated activity center, among a couple other items. And I'll take any questions.
Thank you very much, Holly. Do we have any questions or comments about this particular petition?
I
Commissioner
have
McDonald?
a comment. I looked up the planned improvements along along Sunset Road. It's a 2.6 mile stretch, if I'm not mistaken, that is there where they will be adding sidewalk from Daylily, which is just planned left, all the way to Beatty's Ford Road. So that will be good and definitely supports adding more housing here on a road like Sunset, which currently in some parts is still just one lane in either direction. I wasn't sure if there's any plan for traffic lights or anything like that in that plan.
That didn't get triggered, new traffic signals didn't get triggered as part of this request, is my understanding, but I'll let CDOT speak to
Yeah.
that as to what may trigger that.
It's not
No.
specific to this petition, of course, but just generally that road is hard to get out onto from the side roads.
Yes, it's Isaiah Washington with CDOT. For the project that you were referring to, the city project, it appears that they wouldn't be doing a signal. It's just more streetscape and bicycle facilities. Looking into some of the information internally, it doesn't look like that we have any scheduled for this, at least around this project. But that's something we can talk internal about and look more further into as well. But we wouldn't be able to make this particular developer do that because they didn't trigger it, but just as far as a city project.
Yeah, that it's likely to come up, I would think. But thank you.
Do we have any other questions or comments on this particular petition? If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number 13 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-048?
Shaw, motion to approve. Having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-048 and the adoption of the consistency statement as it appears before us.
Caprioli, second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Shaw, second by Commissioner Caprioli. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes 6-0. We're on to item number 14 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-049 by High Street District Development. And Michael,
Step out.
is he going to step back in?
No, I'll be doing this.
You're going to be virtual Michael?
Virtual Michael.
There was a movie called Sybil in the past. The woman had many personalities.
Showing your age.
I'm just saying there hasn't been a recent remake, but thank you very much, Holly.
Right. This 32-acre site is located in the northeastern portion of the county near the Cabarrus County line in an area with a range of multifamily and single-family entitlements that are at pretty varying stages of development. Site is currently zoned neighborhood white 1A, and the petitioner is proposing to go to neighborhood 2A conditional, which is inconsistent with the policy map's recommendation for neighborhood 1 at this site. The proposal itself is for up to 190 townhome style units. A minimum of 50% of those buildings would contain 4 or fewer units, with no more than 10% of the buildings having 6 units. Access to the site would be through extensions of existing and proposed public streets which stub to the site, including an extension of the existing Trevi Village Boulevard along the southwestern edge of the site. Petitioner commits to dedicate and convey a minimum of 1 acre to the county for a future public park on the eastern portion of the site, highlighted there on the plan. The plan includes also preferred site design and architectural standards, as well as enhanced open space notes for amenitization and minimum dimensions. Since the public hearing, the petitioner addressed several outstanding issues related to transportation, including showing pedestrian ramps on the site plan and defining enhanced plantings within that open space. Staff does recommend approval of this petition upon resolution of an outstanding issue related to site design. Essentially, we needed clarity on the property lines of this site so that we could accurately assess tree save area. And the petitioner has gotten back to us this week, and they are going to clean up the property lines on a very small portion of the site. If we could actually go back just to the plan. So if you see along the creeks that are on the southwestern portion of the site, on just a portion of it, and then along the eastern portion of the site, they're going to modify these boundaries to match what you would see in Polaris, just to be very conservative in the measurements of their own boundaries and their own property. And they'll have to look at their tree save area, and we'll send it back to urban forestry to re-review for tree save compliance. But that should address the remaining outstanding issue that we had listed on the pre-hearing staff analysis and also listed on the staff analysis that you have tonight. So we expect that plan to hopefully come in this week, but if it needs more time, we'll of course work with the petitioner on that. But otherwise, staff does recommend approval of this petition. And the site is adjacent to projects proposed for multifamily uses, providing consistency with the land development pattern proposed in this petition, and it would expand the proposed public street network in the area and is nearby commercial entitlements. And the proposal includes that commitment to future public parkland, which future residents on this site and nearby projects could access. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Does anyone have any questions, comments on this particular petition? Commissioner Capriola?
Will the roadways be city maintained?
State maintained. The internal streets should all be CDOT. Any public streets would be CDOT maintained, but I'll let CDOT speak to that.
Because this is in the ETJ, correct?
Well, if they're intending to annex, so they, oh, sorry, Travis, you go ahead.
You're doing a great job. But yeah, all the roads here, they're planning on being city maintained, so they have the option to annex in, or any project has the option to annex into the city for the most part, being in the ETJ. But regardless of the fact, the plan is for these roads to be CDOT maintained.
Great, thank you very much.
Holly, I'll ask a quick question.
Yep.
Is this parcel, does it have the same developers as we've rezoned like everything around this, I think, over the last couple of years. And I was just curious if it was the same, because you were talking about cleaning up the property lines, and I was just wondering if that was going to be easy or.
Different property owners, but it'll be easy to clean up the property lines because they're going to be more conservative.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. That was just like, okay, if they're gonna do that, are they gonna do it in time to have this go to council? But, all right, anybody else got any questions, comments on this particular one? If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number 14, rezoning petition 2025-049?
Millen, motion to approve, having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff. To approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-049 as it appears before us and the adoption of the consistency statement.
Do I hear a second? It's
McDonald?
been moved by Millen and
I'm
seconded
Scottish
by
tonight.
McDonald. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes 6-0. Item number 15 on our agenda, rezoning petition number 2025-050 by Charter Properties. And Joe, would you take us through this one, please?
Yes, this site is approximately about 11.5 acres, located on the northeastern corner of Steel Creek Road and Brown Greer Road. The site is currently vacant, and current zoning is N1A with a proposed zoning of N2B conventional. The 2040 policy map recommends the neighborhood 2 place type. Staff recommends approval. The site is adjacent to a previously approved rezoning, 185 acre site with large entitlements for a mix of uses that are all compatible and complementary to neighborhood 2 development. Site is also located at the intersection of 2 major thoroughfares with a bus stop for CATS Route 56 located along the Steel Creek Road frontage. I will take any questions.
Thank you very much, Joe. Do we have any questions, comments from anyone in this particular petition? If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number 15 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-050?
Stewart, having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-050 as it appears before us, and the adoption of the consistency statement.
Shaw second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Stewart, seconded by Commissioner Shaw. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously 6-0. We're on to item number 16 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-053 by David Powlin. Powlin. Okay, thank you. You never can tell about these things. Virtual Emma, give it to us.
The site is just over 34 acres located north of Albemarle Road, west of Noble and Help Parkway, east of I-485, in an area where we have some institutional uses, but as well as some multifamily uses entitled just to the east of the site, and of course some single family residential in the area. It is currently zoned B1 conditional and O2 conditional, and they are proposing a site plan amendment, and it is considered consistent with the policy map's recommendation for campus at this area. This proposal is a site plan amendment, and it just modifies the standards pretty minimally. So they are increasing the square footage of medical office, retail, restaurant, and personal services uses in the B1 CD portion of the plan from 37,000 square feet to 59,500 square feet, and it maintains all other conditions as previously approved in that plan. And staff does recommend approval of this petition. There are no further technical revisions that we need to address. Those were cleaned up after the public hearing. This maintains the intent of the original approved rezoning and generally just expands those medical service uses and institutional uses to meet community needs at this location. It's at a strategic location along Albemarle and adjacent to I-45, providing for some regional access. And I will take any questions.
Thank you very much, Virtual Emma. Do we have any questions, comments from anyone regarding this petition? This seems a little bit straightforward.
Yes.
If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number 16 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-053?
Caprioli, motion to approve, having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by the staff to approve this petition. I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-053 as it appears before us and the adoption of the consistency statement.
Millen, second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Caprioli, seconded by Commissioner Millen. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes 6-0. I wish the screen on this thing did not go to sleep after 2 minutes and that I could change the time.
Amen.
Just saying.
Motion to change the time on the iPad.
Motion to change the time on the iPad.
I don't.
Second.
Just anyway. Item number 17 on our agenda is rezoning petition number 2025-054 by Bisbicus Property Group. And we're doing the Virtual Emma thing one more time.
Yes, the site is just over an acre located east of Little Rock Road, south of Queen City Drive, north of I-85, in an area where along this corridor we have a real range of commercial uses. The proposal is to go from neighborhood 1A airport noise disclosure overlay to general commercial airport noise disclosure overlay, which is consistent with the policy map's recommendation for the commercial place type at this area. This is a conventional petition with no associated site. And staff does recommend approval of this petition. It brings the site into consistency with the policy map here and generally matches the context of the surrounding uses as well as the surrounding zoning in this area. So I'll take any questions.
Thank you very much, Holly. Anyone have any questions, comments on this particular petition?
No?
Like,
Another,
how did that one little piece of
another easy
land
one.
get left over like that?
Yeah.
That would be the only thing I would ask, but that's another story.
A lot of money.
If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number 17 on our agenda, 2025-054?
McDonald, motion to approve.
Caprioli, second. Oh, yeah.
You pre-seconded, yes.
Having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-054 as it appears before us and the adoption of the consistency statement as it appears before us.
All right, it's been moved by Commissioner McDonald, seconded by Commissioner Caprioli. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 6-0. Walter, lovely to see you. We'll catch up with you another time. You didn't draw the shortest straw, though.
Oh, yeah.
You got it tonight.
Just saying. Item number 18, you know, people, I can almost see the end. Item number 18 on our agenda, rezone petition 2025-055 by Portia Thomas. And Holly, it does appear that you have been deserted by everyone who would be supporting you tonight. So there's that.
Meeting will be interesting.
I'm still here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Joe and Shayla are getting ready.
Joe, yeah, Joe.
The site is just over half an acre located north of Parkwood Avenue, east of Allen Street, west of Pegram Street, located generally in the Belmont area. So the Parkwood Avenue corridor, if you haven't driven down it recently or seen the entitlements approved recently, has a real range of uses that have been entitled on it, whether it be non-residential or multifamily type uses and general commercial. Though if you look past Parkwood Avenue, you do see generally a neighborhood one development pattern in that area. The current zoning is neighborhood services from a plan a couple years ago that fell through, and they are proposing to go to neighborhood center conditional. This is a tier 1 plan, and the adopted place type here is neighborhood 1. So this petition is considered inconsistent with the policy map's recommendation for neighborhood 1 at this site, though I'll also note that the previous petition already approved for the NS plan is also considered inconsistent with that neighborhood 1 place type. And the proposal itself provides development standards, though not a full site plan, as we didn't think that was necessary at this site. They have just noted that they would allow for neighborhood center uses and prohibited uses that would be not preferred, that are typically allowed in the neighborhood center district, such as a vehicle fueling facility or accessory drive-through uses, temporary outdoor establishment, entertainment, etc. They've also limited building height to 40 feet, so that keeps it considerate and sensitive to that neighborhood 1 character that you see in that area. So for reference, typically the NC district allows for 65 feet at space or could go upwards of 80 feet with bonus provision. So that keeps it in character with what we see in this area. Staff does recommend approval of this petition, although it is consistent with that neighborhood 1 place type. I'll just also note that that neighborhood services plan was also previously inconsistent, and the Parkwood Avenue corridor generally is shifting from that neighborhood 1 character to a range of activity center type uses. So we think this is actually a good move to progress it forward into something that could allow for goods and services that could directly service those nearby residents in those neighborhood 1 areas. And the prohibition on those not preferred uses that are typically allowed in the neighborhood center district is a great outcome at this site, especially given the neighborhood 1 character that it interfaces with. It does have proximity to Little Sugar Creek Greenway, as well as proximity to transit, and I will take any questions.
Thank you very much, Holly. 2 quick questions that just popped into my mind there. One of the prohibited uses was dormitories and group homes. Was that a staff recommendation or was that something that the petitioner put forward? Or do you know?
I'm not for sure whether, I don't know that that specific use was called out by staff.
Okay.
But I know that the intent from the petitioner that I'm aware of is that they're looking to do adaptive reuse of an existing structure on the site.
Mhm.
So really personal service establishment uses is
Okay.
the intended use for this site, and they wanted to leave the other parcels that are currently vacant more flexible, but oriented towards more of those commercial servicing or neighborhood commercial establishment uses that would be committed to or would be preferred in a neighborhood center designation.
The other question relates to the height limited to 40 feet. N1 would be
48.
48, and I'm surprised that this is only 40. Was that a staff recommendation or is that the petitioner's?
I think height has been sensitive in this area, and there are also height limitations on the previous plan.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's also, carrying forward something we saw in previous intent.
Okay.
So it is a little bit stricter than you might typically see. I
Yeah.
think it also calls back to the fact that they are looking to do an adaptive reuse project. And the intent is for a small scale, maybe neighborhood commercial establishments on those vacant parcels, but trying to keep it in line with what the character already is of the existing surrounding uses, which if you drive around there, certainly don't exceed 40 feet.
Okay, there's one that churchy thing that's
Sure.
like, that's the one thing I'm thinking of, but I don't know.
In the
if it-
immediate, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay, all right. All right, I'm copacetic. Anyone else got any questions, comments on this particular one? If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of rezoning petition, or item number 18, rezoning petition 2025-055?
Motion to approve, McDonald. Having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-055 as it appears before us and the adoption of the consistency statement as it appears before us.
Millen, second.
It's been moved by Commissioner McDonald, seconded by Commissioner Millen. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes 6-0. We're up to item number 19 on our agenda, a rezoning petition 2025-056 by Del Ray at Providence Road West LLC. And Joe, would you take us through this one, please?
This site is right at 10 acres, located on the south side of Providence Road West, west of Renfield Drive and east of Sandstone Crest Lane, right at the South Carolina border. Oh, lose the presentation.
Sorry, Joe, the computer's been acting up, but we're pulling it back up now.
It's the computer.
Well, Shayla wanted to do this to us.
I can't touch it from where I am.
Yeah. Did your tree get cut down yet?
It's half done.
I hope it's not a heritage tree.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
no.
I got my little 30-inch ruler at home. I'll come over and measure. Can you hug it? That's it.
Yeah.
All right, 2025-56, and this site is there's one single family home. It's largely wooded. Current zoning is N1A. Proposed zoning N2A conditional. 2040 policy map recommends the neighborhood one place type. The proposal is for up to 110 multifamily attached residential units in the N2A zoning district. Height to be limited to 48 feet with a building with a maximum of 5 units per building. Be usable porches and stoops with be predominant features with at least 6 feet in depth. Provide a 25-foot Class B yard along the southern property boundary, a 10-foot landscape area along the eastern property boundary, street trees along internal alleys, committing to all units having access to the Providence Road sidewalk via an internal sidewalk network. committing to a publicly accessible open space that will be amenitized by a menu of elements that may include enhanced plantings, specialty paving materials, shading elements, seating options, public art, interactive elements, and decorative lighting. We implement an 8-foot planting strip and 8-foot sidewalk along the Providence Road west frontage. Be 2 access points, with one of those towards the southwest having a left turn lane into the site. Since the public hearing, there were several outstanding issues related to site and building design that were addressed. There's one outstanding issue, and that is request to install a 6-foot tall opaque fence within the 25-foot Class B landscape yard along the southern property boundary. Staff recommends approval. It is within an area with a mix of housing types. There's single-family housing to the south. There is multifamily or single-family attached to the east. It is less than a half mile from a neighborhood center that includes commercial, medical, and personal service uses. Petitioner has committed to a 25-foot Class B landscape yard. We're adjacent to single-family detached. And I will take any questions.
Thank you very much, Joe. Commissioner Shaw.
Just one question. In the public hearing, there was a comment about overcrowding in Audrey Bell. I think that came up maybe more than one petition. And I think there was a comment that that might not have incorporated, I'm gonna forget the name of the new South School, Valentine Ridge. I was wondering from staff if we were able to figure out if that statistic did or did not include Valentine Ridge.
I did follow up with CMS, and the numbers are from September of last year. So the Valentine Ridge High School would have opened. However, they would have not had, I think, juniors or seniors at the time. And so the new numbers will be run this month, which would then reflect, the classes as they get moved through, move towards their senior year. So we would expect that number would go down.
Got it. Thank you.
I have
Commissioner.
just something to add. 'Cause I also noted all the discussion about the schools and the way these numbers are presented in the report, and how confusing they are to some people and maybe many people. But reading it, it's projected to add 37 students, which to me is a much easier thing to understand. 37 students, Ardrey Kell, if they all go to Ardrey Kell has over 3,500 students. That doesn't seem like a huge increase. So I just wanted to add that because I also went and looked at, like, how are we to understand this, in as much as I agree with Ed Driggs that we're not supposed to try to plan based on school capacity. Because schools, it's a very complicated issue, but it did help me to understand that the projection is 37 students added in the system, and we don't know the distribution. Obviously, it's a projection, but that helped put it in perspective for me. And I don't know how long that actual number has been there, because a lot of council members just refer to these percentages. That sounds like, 152% of capacity sounds terrible. If you're just trying to hold a picture in your head.
Let me add 3 points to that.
Yeah.
Okay. There has been at times in the past a discussion led by CMS to talk about these numbers and what they really are. For our October Planning Commission meeting, Dennis Lucaria, who does the I don't know what Dennis does. is it CMS planning? Is that what his title really is?
Yeah.
He bills this, the bunch of money is all his and he's gonna spend it, right? That's
Yeah.
then. But he's gonna come to our October meeting and he'll be able to talk to us a little bit about these numbers if you guys want to talk about that just a little bit, because they're not as, how they're derived is not as obvious as it seems. This point has been swimming around with the commission for a long time. Second point I want to make is that in 2007, America had the largest population of newborns since 1985. There were 4.3 million newborns born that year. That number has fallen 20% since then. It has never been close to 4.3 since then. The largest class of seniors just graduated. And what's going to happen is they're going to get smaller. So these numbers may go down regardless of how many people we add to this area. 3.6 million was the number of kids born in 2023, I believe. If I nerded out on these things. We're depopulating, Anyway, but that being the case, if further discussion needs to be made on these numbers, we'll make sure that happens. But sometimes, people get excited by the percentages, and that's not the whole story. So,
Can I add just one more thing? 'Cause
yeah.
I also nerded out on this, and the one thing that I do remember from our very local numbers is that the total enrollment figures were higher or the same in 2016 as they are now in CMS. So, CMS has not really grown. There's been some fluctuation and, maybe a little peak in there, but there was a significant drop. And then it's kind of recovered to 2016 numbers. I had to go back to 2016 to see when the number was, in the same range.
Yeah.
So,
do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number 19 on our agenda, 2020? Was all the discussion closed? Let me not leave anybody out. Motion for the disposition of item number 2025-0, item number 19, motion, petition 2025-056.
Caprioli, motion to approve. Having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by the staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend the approval of petition number 2025-081 as it appears before us, and the
056.
adoption of the consistency statement.
Get the statement, the number right. It's 056. Thank you. Do I have a second on that motion?
McDonald.
It's been moved by Commissioner Caprioli, seconded by Commissioner McDonald. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes 6-0. Our last item of the evening.
Love to stick around.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you made it this far. You might as well just hang on. Don't be a wimp.
The fun just started.
Don't you want to know what happened?
I'll walk slowly. I'm sure I'll hear you.
Item number 20 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-081 by the city of Charlotte on behalf of Samaritan's Purse. Joe, hit me, baby, one more time.
All right, this site is just shy of 3 acres, located on the west side of Nations Ford Road, south of Red Roof Drive, and north of Forest Point Boulevard. It is currently vacant and currently zoned IMU with a proposed zoning of OFC, that's Office Flex Campus, and is a conventional petition. The 2040 policy map recommends the innovation mixed use place type. Staff recommends approval of the petition. It is consistent with the policy map recommendation for the IMU place type. The OFC zoning district is intended to address large-scale office research and medical campuses that may include some light industrial components. with supporting uses primarily designed to serve the everyday needs of employees and visitors. While OFC zoning district developments are relatively low intensity, standards are included to foster internal and external walkability, providing connections both on-site and to the external pedestrian network. The site is adjacent to property zoned OFC to the north and east. Despite inconsistency, it is consistent with the policy map recommendation. We did not change the language there. It's under common ownership with the adjacent warehouse facility that is zoned I1CD and recommended for the IMU place type. I will take any questions.
Thank you very much, Joe. Does anyone have any questions, Commissioner Shaw?
Sorry, I'm not sure if this is a simple question or a complicated question, but I think this is the second time we've seen this site rezoned, and I'm just trying to understand like real world background of why.
There was an issue in permitting with IMU that nobody realized with build to zones and where they wanted to put their parking and common ownership and a lot of things that were gonna limit their ability to do the project they wanted. That was the district we recommended. Nobody really at the time caught that kind of back relationship back with the IMU district and some of the build to lines and the established setback, and you can't have parking there. So essentially they couldn't do their project.
Got it.
OFC at the time didn't allow it. So that's why we went to IMU a year or two ago, whenever it was. We had since made a text change to OFC to allow this type of thing without the trigger of the build to zones and the established setback. So the solution was to keep them moving and permitting, let them continue on. They need that parking for a lot of their operations, particularly around the holidays. And so since that was kind of our mistake, we said, we'll take the responsibility of zoning it back to OFC for you guys. We ran the community meeting, did all the things on their behalf. And so this is really just corrective to resolve that land development issue without having to go through, another kind of weird text amendment to IMU. So this was the best thing we could do to resolve.
Got it. That was pretty easy.
Okay. Do we have any other questions, comments?
Nope.
If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number 20 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-081?
McDonald, motion to approve.
Don't be shy.
Having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-081 as it appears before us, and adoption of the consistency statement as it appears before us.
Millen, second.
Moved by McDonald, seconded by Millen. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That does it for the evening. Do I hear a motion that we adjourn this puppy?
Motion to